The sun hung low, casting golden rays over the serene village nestled in a valley surrounded by hills. Ananaya, a young weaver, worked tirelessly in the dim light of his humble thatched roof home. His hands moved deftly, weaving intricate patterns into plain cloth. Yet his heart felt weighed down by solitude, unnoticed by villagers. He often questioned the value of his existence and the purpose of his quiet life. As twilight descended, the sound of footsteps echoed, bringing the villagers to the main square with curious anticipation. The Buddha had arrived, his serene presence drawing all, like moths to the warm glow of a flame. Ananaya hesitated to join, fearing he might remain invisible even amidst such a gathering of seekers. "Why should I go?" he whispered to himself, his voice trembling with doubt and weariness. One day, news spread that the Buddha was visiting their village to share his teachings. The villagers gathered eagerly to listen. "All beings are threads in the fabric of existence," the Buddha began, his voice as soft as flowing water. "No thread is insignificant, for each binds the whole, lending strength to the endless tapestry of life." He continued. "Time is the most precious gift you can offer," the Buddha began, his words clear and deliberate. "Wealth can be regained, but a moment past is gone forever. You," the Buddha spoke gently, his finger pointing toward Ananaya, "step forward, child of the loom." The crowd parted, creating a path for Ananaya, who nervously approached the radiant figure of enlightenment. "What is your name, and what burdens you?" the Buddha asked, his tone warm and free of judgment. "My name is Ananaya," he replied, "but I am no one of significance, merely a weaver in this forgotten village." The Buddha motioned for Ananaya to sit beside him. Their contrasting lives suddenly intertwined in that brief moment. "Tell me, Ananaya, do you not see the profound in the simple act of weaving?" the Buddha inquired. Ananaya shook his head. "I see only plain threads, which, without color or beauty, go unnoticed, like my own existence." The Buddha picked up a stray thread that had fallen from Ananaya's garment, holding it delicately. "Even this thread," the Buddha said, "though plain to the eyes, carries the strength to hold an entire cloth together." His words sank deep into Ananaya's heart, each syllable unraveling the knot of doubt that had bound his spirit. "The world," the Buddha continued, "is blind at times, distracted by illusions of grandeur, failing to see the quiet essential." Ananaya looked down, his fingers tracing the calloused skin of his hands, now seeing them in a new light. "But blessed one," he asked hesitantly, "how can such a small thread, or a life like mine, make a difference?" The Buddha smiled, his face radiating an understanding that seemed timeless, unshaken by earthly doubts. "The difference lies not in recognition, but in purpose," the Buddha explained. "Threads do not seek applause, yet they endure. Invisibility does not diminish existence," he added. "It often amplifies it, like the roots that nourish yet remain unseen." Ananaya felt tears streaming down his face, a release of years of self-doubt and loneliness bottled within. The Buddha placed a hand on Ananaya's shoulder, a gesture of comfort and profound solidarity. "Ananaya," the Buddha said, "weave not just cloth, but intention into your life. For intention gives rise to meaning. To live unseen," he concluded, "is not to live without value. For the unseen is often closest to truth. Dedicate a moment each day to your son. Play with him, listen to him, and cherish the time you share." The crowd dispersed as night fell, carrying the Buddha's teachings like seeds ready to bloom within their daily lives. Ananaya walked back to his hut, his steps lighter, his gaze toward the stars sparkling in the moonlit sky. Sitting at his loom, he picked up a thread, holding it in reverence before carefully weaving it into a new pattern. His hands moved not with duty but with purpose, every thread carrying the weight of the Buddha's gentle wisdom. In that moment, Ananaya felt seen, not by the world, but by the vast, infinite truth that united all existence, and as he wove, his heart no longer yearned for recognition, for he had found wholeness in simply being. Another day dawned, the sun casting its golden embrace over the village where Ananaya had found quiet solace. Despite his newfound clarity, doubts remained, lurking like shadows beneath the surface of his thoughts and daily labors. One fateful evening, Ananaya wandered into a grove where a mighty banyan tree towered, its roots sprawling like ancient veins. He sat beneath its wide canopy, watching the sunlight fade as the tree's shadow stretched further with each passing moment. The shadow seemed to echo his own feelings, growing larger but still unnoticed by the world it quietly served. As silence enveloped the grove, a familiar figure emerged, radiant and calm. The Buddha approached Ananaya with a knowing gaze. "Why do you sit beneath this tree, young friend?" the Buddha asked, his tone gentle and inviting. Ananaya sighed, his voice trembling. "I come seeking answers, Blessed One, for I feel unseen despite efforts to find meaning." The Buddha nodded, taking a seat beside him, the towering banyan tree sheltering them both in its quiet grandeur. He gazed at the massive roots, visible yet unnoticed, and asked, "What do you see before you, Ananaya?" Ananaya replied, "I see a great tree with roots, vast and deep, but overshadowed by the branches above." The Buddha smiled softly, his eyes glinting with the wisdom of lifetimes. "And what of the shadow it casts?" Ananaya hesitated. "The shadow stretches long but remains hidden, offering relief to those who stand within it, yet unnoticed itself." The Buddha leaned forward and placed his hand upon the earth, feeling the roots beneath his palm. "The roots," he said, "though hidden from sight, sustain this tree, granting it life and strength to grow tall." "And the shadow?" Ananaya asked, his curiosity piqued by the Buddha's observations. "The shadow," the Buddha explained, "provides relief, unnoticed yet vital, much like the quiet deeds of many unseen lives." Anania's eyes filled with tears as the weight of the Buddha's words settled deep within his heart. "But how can one live content, Blessed One, when recognition seems elusive and doubt lingers like an unwelcome companion?" he questioned. The Buddha gestured to the shadow stretching across the grove. "Would the shadow cease to exist without acknowledgement? Number. It would not," Ananaya replied, realization beginning to dawn upon him, like sunlight breaking through morning fog. The Buddha nodded. "The shadow's essence lies not in recognition, but in its purpose, to nurture, protect, and quietly serve." Ananaya stared at the roots, entwined with the earth, their strength hidden but vital to the tree's very being. Would the roots abandon their duty if no eyes witnessed their work? The Buddha asked, his voice calm and steady. "No," Ananaya said, a hint of certainty returning to his voice. "The roots remain, for their purpose is not dependent on notice." The Buddha smiled, radiating warmth. "Likewise, let your life be like the roots and shadow, grounded, steady, and quietly enduring." "But, Blessed One," Ananaya hesitated, "how does one overcome the ache of invisibility that haunts even the most steadfast hearts?" The Buddha tilted his head thoughtfully. "By remembering that truth sees all, even when human eyes cannot." The words settled into Anania's soul, filling a void long left hollow by self-doubt and a longing for recognition. "The unseen does not lack worth," the Buddha continued. "It often carries the greatest strength, like the wind unseen yet felt." Ananaya closed his eyes, picturing the wind that swayed the mighty branches, its presence undeniable yet invisible. "The world," the Buddha said, "is often preoccupied with what glitters, overlooking the quiet beauty of the essential and unseen." Ananaya opened his eyes and asked, "So is invisibility not a burden, but a gift in disguise?" The Buddha nodded. To live unseen is to live without the chains of worldly attachment, free to serve one's purpose. Ananaya's tears turned to a gentle smile as the peace of the Buddha's words began to blossom within him. The grove fell silent, save for the rustling of leaves as the wind whispered its own quiet song of truth. Ananaya placed his hand upon the roots, feeling their strength, and whispered, "I am like these roots, unseen yet purposeful." The Buddha rose, his presence as unwavering as the mighty banyan, and placed a hand on Ananaya's shoulder. "Your shadow stretches far, Ananaya," the Buddha said, "even if you cannot always see the lives it touches." Ananaya bowed low, his heart swelling with gratitude and a newfound understanding of his place in the vast tapestry. As the Buddha walked away, Ananaya remained beneath the banyan, the shadow now a symbol of quiet strength and peace. The night embraced the grove, stars flickering above, as Ananaya whispered, "I am never invisible to truth, for it sees me," and in that moment, Ananaya found solace, as the unseen threads of his existence wove themselves into a meaningful whole. Another day unfolded, the sky painted with hues of gold and crimson. As Ananaya strolled by a tranquil lotus pond, the surface of the pond shimmered under the soft touch of sunlight, reflecting the surrounding trees in quiet perfection. Among the blooming lotuses, one lone bud struggled to open, overshadowed by the grandeur of the blossoms surrounding it. Ananaya crouched by the water's edge, his heart echoing the plight of the bud yearning to reveal its beauty. Lost in thought, he failed to notice the approach of the Buddha, whose presence brought a serene stillness. "What occupies your mind, young weaver?" the Buddha asked, his voice as gentle as the breeze rippling the pond. Ananaya looked up, startled yet comforted by the sight of the enlightened one, and gestured toward the struggling bud. "That lotus bud," he said softly, "remains hidden, its beauty unseen amidst the splendor of its companions." The Buddha sat beside him, gazing at the pond with a calm that seemed to dissolve the very air. "What do you see in the bud, Ananaya?" the Buddha inquired, his tone inviting contemplation and deeper understanding. Ananaya hesitated before replying, "I see potential, a beauty waiting to bloom, yet overshadowed by others. Much like myself." The Buddha picked up a small pebble and dropped it into the pond, creating ripples that reached the lone bud. "Do you see what happens, Ananaya?" the Buddha asked, pointing to the bud as it gently swayed with the ripples. Ananaya nodded, his brow furrowed. The ripples touched it, as if urging it to awaken. Yet its bloom remains incomplete. The Buddha smiled knowingly. The ripple reminds the bud of its strength, but its blooming must come from within itself. Ananaya pondered these words, the weight of their meaning pressing gently upon his heart like the ripples on water. "But blessed one," he asked, "how does one awaken the strength within when the world sees only what is already in bloom?" The Buddha gestured toward the shimmering surface of the pond. "Does the pond need validation to reflect the beauty around it?" "Number, blessed one," Ananaya replied, realization flickering like a flame. "The pond simply exists, offering its stillness to the world." The Buddha nodded, his serene gaze fixed on the lone bud. "So too must you exist, offering your essence freely. In the quiet of being," he continued, "strength awakens, like the lotus that blooms not for approval but for truth." Ananaya's eyes glistened with tears as the Buddha's words unraveled his doubts, weaving a new understanding in their place. "The unopened bud," the Buddha said, "is no less significant than the fully bloomed, for both are part of life's cycle." Ananaya looked at the bud, now swaying more visibly, and felt a deep connection to its quiet struggle. "But blessed one," he asked, "how do I find peace while awaiting my bloom amidst the grandeur of others?" The Buddha smiled, his wisdom shining like the sun's reflection on the water. Peace lies in knowing you are seen. The truth sees you. Ananaya, he continued, even when human eyes cannot. That is the essence of your existence. Ananaya bowed his head, the weight of his invisible presence lightened by the Buddha's words and profound clarity. The Buddha placed his hand lightly on Ananaya's shoulder. You are already blooming, young weaver. Though the world may not yet notice, Ananaya looked up, his heart swelling with gratitude, and said, I see now, Blessed One, that my essence is enough. The Buddha rose gracefully, his presence as unyielding as the flow of time itself, and turned toward the path ahead. As the Buddha walked away, the lone bud began to open, its petals unfurling in the gentle embrace of sunlight. Ananaya remained by the pond, the blooming bud a reflection of his own awakening, his own quiet, unseen transformation. The day faded into twilight, but Ananaya's spirit shone brightly, illuminated by the teachings that had forever changed his life. And as he walked back to the village, he whispered, I am a ripple, a thread, and a bloom, whole in truth. Under the starry sky, the lotus pond lay still, holding the echoes of a lesson meant for all who feel unseen. Suresh closed his eyes, feeling a deep sense of peace, knowing his love for Ramesh would endure beyond his lifetime. The Buddha blessed them both, saying, May your bond continue to inspire others. A testament to the power of presence and love. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.